so I don't think
Right.
any questions.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, it's not gonna be first.
We're live.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Good morning. This is the Allegheny County Industrial Development Agency, July 10th meeting. We have a number of people on the screen as well as in the room. So in the room is Judy Hopkins, that's me, I'm chair. And
Randy, chair, vice chair.
Yeah, let's just go around. Doug?
Doug Frank, treasurer.
Mm-hmm.
Barb Benjamin, operations director.
Craig Clark, executive director.
Tim Boyd, deputy administrator with Allegheny County.
Brooke Harris, Allegheny County Board Chair.
And on the screen, Rich Ewell.
Rich Ewell, yep, board member.
Okay.
Board.
So,
And Peter? You want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. Sorry about that. Yes, Vice President of Project Development with EDF Power Solutions, Distribution Scale Power, and representing the Water Chestnut Solar Partners LLC project. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
okay. And missing is one member, John Ricky from the board. Okay. First item of business is to approve the minutes from last meeting. We'll need a motion for that. And give you a chance to take a look at it.
So moved.
Okay.
Secretary.
Okay, thank you. You guys are going to be busy today, I think, with motions. Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the minutes from last meeting? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Thank you. That's passed. Next order of business is to look at the abstract report, the expenses. We'll need a motion to accept that as well.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Second? Aye.
I'll second.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, take a look at that. Any questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. That is passed. The next is the banking and financial summary. We'll need a motion on that, please. Thank you, Doug. Second by Rich. Okay. Any questions on that? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. That is passed. Okay. How about a building maintenance report, Craig?
There's been no, well, we had a minor, excuse me, I take that back. We had a minor, one of our air conditioning units need to be recharged with some Freon type material, so that's been done. Other than that, we've been fine.
And your lights have stayed on in your vehicle.
Oh, maybe that's what that's.
Sorry.
Thanks, thank you.
So I know we're good. The only thing I'll bring up later is we talked about a phone system and we've got a proposal to do that. So other than that, we're good.
Okay. Great. Okay, we'll move on to the action items. Do you want to, I think, Peter, we can hear from you now if there's anything new that you want to share with us about the project.
Great, thanks so much. And I actually don't really have any updates on the project from last time or last month. So I'm happy to answer any questions that are related to the project that we may not have touched on last month. But otherwise, we're still hoping to get to construction at some point this fall. And the town has not yet executed the host community benefit agreement, but we are waiting to hear from them on the timeline for the execution of that. Their attorney had agreed to all, the form of agreement that we arrived at. So it's essentially negotiated.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we do, Peter, typically the board will have a resolution so we can have a public hearing. but we would not pass the resolution until we have confirmation that it's about to be signed. It hasn't always been signed at the same time, but we would not sign the paperwork until the host agreement's agreed upon.
That makes sense. So would that mean if this progresses to the meeting for next month, we really want that essentially signed prior to that?
It'd be better if we could do that. We've done it in the past. If the supervisor says that they've agreed in principle, but we couldn't sign the paperwork until actually they do it. That's all.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'll make sure that we track toward that, but thank you, Craig.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to be voting on today, Peter, is the resolution for the public hearing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's get started with that. We need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Rich, would you like to second that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any discussion or do we have some questions for Peter about the project itself or anything pertaining to it? Pretty easy, Peter, today.
Well, you went over it last time. So.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll call for a vote with that then, and it is a roll call vote. So, Judy Hopkins votes aye. Rainey Shaler,
Aye.
Rich Yule,
Aye.
Doug Frank,
Aye.
and John Ricky is absent. That is passed. Okay, thank you.
I'll work with the town on the date, but it'll be sometime in later July, Peter. So I'll let you know the date when we get it set up.
Okay, thanks very much, Craig, and thank you, everybody else. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thanks for signing on. Okay, the next order of business is the negative declaration Allegheny CSG2 LLC and Allegheny CSG3 LLC. So we'll need a motion to start that as well.
Yeah, there's no formal resolution. It's just to approve the negative declaration.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, Craig, just for is there anyone listening online?
No.
Okay, I was gonna have you explain it for the benefit of people online, but that's okay. So,
Well, basically, we were the lead agency, so we sent all the paperwork to all the associated tax authorities as well as DOT and other people, and they've all responded, and there was no issues as a negative declaration. It's a minor action because of what it is.
okay, so that's just a simple motion, but we do need,
Motion to approve the negative declaration.
yes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
I'll second.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, any discussion about it? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, next is the seeker resolution on another one of the projects. And this one is CSG2 LLC and Allegheny CSG3. It's the same one as before. So need a motion on that? Move.
So moved.
Thank you, Randy.
Aye.
Thank you, Doug. I told you you're going to be busy today. Okay, are there any questions about the seeker resolution on it? Or Craig, do you have anything you'd like to share?
No, basically, it just is the formal recommendation that we've done to seeker, and there is a negative declaration which you already approved, so we're fine.
Okay. This is a roll call vote, so we'll take that vote. Judy Hopkins votes aye. Randy Shaler. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Doug Frank.
Aye.
And John is absent. Okay, that is passed. Thank you. We are really moving along today.
I'm liking what I'm saying.
That's how you like to run a business, don't you?
Well, I took lessons from you. Sure. Okay. All right, the next one is to approve the resolution of the Allegheny CSG to LLC project. And we need a motion on that. Um, Thank you, Doug. Second? Randy, second, thank you. Any discussion about that, or Craig, would you like to share anything?
No, again, this was one of the ones that basically followed our UTEP. That means our standard policy as far as pilot as well as length of time. It's 20 years.
Sounds good. Okay, then, let me see, let's check. Probably, yep, it is roll call vote.
Yes.
Okay, Judy Hopkins votes aye. Randy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And John is absent. That is passed. Okay. Moving right on. We have the CSG3 project, pretty much the same resolution. We'll need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Doug smiles, so he's seconding. Okay. Any discussion? Same thing. We'll take a vote on that then, if there's no discussion. Judy Hopkins votes aye. Randy Shaler?
Aye.
Rich Yule?
Aye.
Doug Frank?
Aye.
And John is absent. Okay, thank you, that is passed. Oh my gosh.
It's almost as good as you.
I mean,
Better.
this is, the next thing is the ACUC. Okay, so we do have, need to approve the rollover for the CD coming due in July 24th. There was a sheet about the CD before all of the resolutions, if you want to take a look at that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Second?
I'll second, sure.
Thank you, Doug. Are there something you want to share?
No,
Barb?
I think Barb shared all that information as far as when they're due, and this is different, but we can deal with the rollover. I mean, we haven't got back from the bank yet the exact amount, but I'll let you know the amount of the rollover as far as the rate.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so that really is just informational, right? We don't need to vote on that.
What's that?
We don't need to vote on
You
it.
should go in the rollover though,
Oh, on the
Yeah.
roll.
because otherwise I really can't do it. She won't let me do it, and she shouldn't unless the board's approved the rollover.
Oh, Barb.
No, not Barb, it's the bank.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. We need a motion to roll over the CD coming due July 24th, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Second. You're the next one I
Yeah,
just.
we already did that. didn't we?
You already did it, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. We got.
We have to vote yet.
Just vote, just
We
gotta
just have
vote.
to vote. Okay, we're going too fast. There's no discussion, and usually we have discussion about everything that we.
Are we sure that's as
Why not?
much interest as we can get there, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
good. Okay, make sure that makes the minutes.
There you go, you want
The
to have
minutes
a
are gonna be
discussion.
so much shorter than usual.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Well, again, the only thing I'll go on record is the advantage of doing it this way because it's fully insured no matter how much we have, which is nice. So it's above the $250,000 minimum, so.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Okay, the next is the approval to hire the assistant director to start on July 28th, but I understand she wants to change that.
When I did, yeah, I wanted to bring that up. She actually has found a replacement for her in her current job and she'd prefer to start July 21st, if that's okay. So
Oh,
that's all.
21st, okay. Okay, so do we have any discussion about that? We've been through the hiring process pretty much. I
Yeah.
think this is a formality, but we do need a motion to hire the assistant director to start July 21st.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, okay. Randy was first.
Alright.
With the motion, Rich seconds it. Thank you. Any discussion about that? I have a question.
Sure.
So where will her office be?
Right next to Barb's,
Okay. Right there.
so.
Any other questions?
Well, go ahead, let's vote on this, then I'll ask, I have something to bring up.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Because obviously we're gonna need a computer for her, and she's gonna help source that, and I'd like to do it through Computer Solutions if possible. Last one we bought was about $1,000, so it's in that range, so just so you know, we'll be doing that.
Is that similar to the one that you used, pretty much?
Yeah.
All the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're all set on that then.
Can I just ask a question? What's her furniture look like, Craig?
Well, when she comes, yeah, we'll look at it and see, there may be, I'm sure there'll be at least a need to buy a newer and better chair. But
I think, we want that to look pretty nice if she's got, perspective, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'll make-
clients or whatever coming in.
I'll make sure we
Want
look
that
at it
piece.
after it all gets moved out, and if we have to buy another desk, we'll buy one too, okay? I'm sure a chair will be in order for sure.
And she'll get to choose the chair, right?
And that brings us to the next one, it's the phone.
Yeah. Okay, the one that you want to discuss. Go
Well,
ahead.
I sent out the proposal, using, Armstrong as our internet provider, also the phone system.
Mhm.
And it's an ongoing charge of, I think it was $90 a month for the 3 phones, which I thought was reasonable.
I think that's reasonable.
And then the phone system set up, the total cost would be $300 to start. So I think it's not a bad cost. Then we'll have our own phone system. We don't rely on anybody.
Yeah.
Who did the work on that, Barb or you, Craig?
Barb did.
Thank you, Barb.
Barb, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So when somebody gets a voicemail, I'm sure probably the answer is yes, but is that going to be able to be forwarded to people's cell phone or their email or something? So,
Yes.
I mean, is it all
Yeah.
really, okay, it's all.
Yep.
That was my only question because I usually use
Yep.
just my cell phone. I want it all to go to my cell phone. I think she'll want to do the same thing.
I have a question for the visitors. Are you all aware that we are getting a separate phone system? Because we've had trouble with people not being able to leave messages. The voice that comes on doesn't direct them to Barb at all. So Barb has been unable to take messages and all of that. So that's why we're doing this. And I think that's a
I was
good.
not aware of that.
Well, that's.
Well, we just figured
That's why you're here.
it's much easier for us to just have our own system and not worry about having to go through the county. So,
And I think that's a good rate. Our farm pays $89 a month, so, and we don't have any of that stuff. So I think you negotiated a pretty good rate. Thank you. Okay, so we need to approve that, right?
it'd be best to approve the hooking up the phone system through Armstrong.
Okay. So why don't you guide the making of the motion?
Basically, the motion
What is
is
it?
to allow Barb to follow through and have Armstrong have set up a phone system of 3 phones, and like as we just mentioned, have all of the ability to forward our system as well as do call forwarding as well as the voicemail.
Does it make sense to put a phone in the room you're sitting in right now or not?
We've been using just my phone when I need to. I don't think we use it enough to have that
Okay.
phone. I will ask them if we could transport the phone, just change it when we need it.
Plug and play.
Plug and play versus having a phone in here. Because we'd only use it once a
Okay.
month. I'll ask them that question.
Good question. Thank you.
Because we used to use the phone a lot, yes.
Okay. So that's the motion. Would someone like to move that, please? Done. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Randy. Any other discussion, questions?
Just thanks to Barb.
Yes, appreciate that. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Alright,
Aye. Okay, I should have asked this before, but we do have guests here today. At what point? I feel like I'm ignoring you, so sorry. But I'm sure you have a reason that you want, something you want to discuss with us. At what point are we discussing
It's
it?
whenever they'd like to.
Okay, I mean, I don't see any.
Well, Tim
We're
usually
finished.
discusses the Gateway project, but if there's anything else at that
Yeah.
time, you could discuss both.
Okay.
Anything
We're
from a county
gonna,
perspective.
we're gonna finish the action items and.
Right.
And then we'll maybe give them a chance. Since they have to leave. Don't look at me like that. Okay, the next order of business then is to approve for the executive director and the new assistant director to attend the New York State Economic Development Conference, IDA Summer Institute in Ithaca, June 20.
I always go to the fall and spring, but I've never gone to July. I typed that wrong. July
Okay.
29th.
July 20.
July 20th. I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
But it's, interestingly, there's a summer institute just for IDAs, and it'd be a good time for her to meet people as
Really?
well as go through the IDA process.
Mm-hmm,
So it's in Ithaca on July 29th. Yeah,
Good.
I got that too. It says June.
good. Ithaca's beautiful.
And I've already talked to her. She's ready to go. So it's just one overnight. The cost of the conference is $125 per person, so it's not a real expensive.
And where do you stay?
Um,
You know,
I cannot
Or is it-
remember. I
is
think
it located in just one hotel?
it's one hotel. It was a
Yeah.
Marriott there.
Okay.
I work
Hey,
there.
Craig, do you still have, a corporate credit card,
I do.
an IDA credit? Okay, we should probably get her one, don't you think?
I think we should have probably 3 cards.
One for Barb too. okay.
Yeah, because sometimes I've been out of town and she's needed it. Usually she could
Okay.
just do it, but when she buys stamps, she actually has to have the credit card.
Mhm.
So I think it'd be good to have 2 more cards, yeah.
So are they credit cards or debit cards?
They're credit cards.
I mean, do we really need a motion for you to go to this conference? Do you want the board to vote on that?
I think we should, only because I haven't done a form yet. If I do a form, then Judy can sign off on it, but I should have some sign off as somehow record. I think it's just good for the board. I think the better way is.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
The better way in the future is to basically just let the board chair sign off on travel unless it's something, if I'm going to some crazy place.
And I think it would be helpful after the conference and in our next meeting for you to give us a little summary and, you know, if there were any particular things that came up that, you know, were helpful or questions that you had, or
Okay.
just, you know, let us know what it was,
Sure.
what it was happening in. So,
be a good opportunity for us to hear from the new person at the next meeting.
yes,
She'll have been back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
She can tell us what you did.
good point.
Well, she'll have a much different perspective because it'll all be new to her.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mhm. Okay, we just need to vote on that then.
Yeah.
So all those in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, that is passed. Okay,
The only thing we skipped over was the personnel policy. I don't know. Rich, do you have any comments on the personnel policy we looked at that we sent out?
No, I mean, what's that safety paragraph? Maybe that has to be in all state personnel policies. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
does.
We did some, Barb and I both checked on that.
Then leave it.
Yeah, we couldn't get it out of there. Well, we can, but you're not supposed to.
Okay, then fine. Then no, I have no questions.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any questions, why don't we go back and approve that so we have a personnel policy now that we're hiring somebody?
On the agenda.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Thank you.
Okay. Second? Randy, want to do that? Okay, poor dog. Okay, moved and seconded that we approve the Allegheny County Industrial Development Agency personnel benefits of July 2025. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is passed. Thank you. We have a personnel policy.
It's a good time to
Good
have
job.
one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we do have some old business. One of them is the Gateway Center of the Western New York Wilds. So, would the county like to take the moment?
Yeah, I think the last time we talked, we had indicated that there were some congressional earmarks that had been submitted. We knew that Congressman Langworthy's appropriation was moving forward. We're not exactly sure on the amount, but that was specifically for the water line. That was in previous year's amount of 1.25 million. We did submit an increased application because none of those projects were funded in 2024. So we know that that's moved forward.
Funded federally, you mean?
At the federal level.
Mhm.
And we did increase that to, I believe, $2.5 million just to cover additional costs. We did hear, it indicated that Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand had accepted our proposals. They did move them forward for appropriation. One is moving on the water line, the additional cost of the water line. I think that's another $2 million. And the sewer project, whichever one of the two is about $3 million to cover the cost of the package plant that would be going in. The S curves that would accommodate both the Gateway Center and the proposed DPW building. So that's roughly $6 to $7 million in federal aid that we're submitting for. We've had some internal discussions about making a face-to-face request and pitch to the senators for that, because it's rare that we get even over the first hurdle. It's still another process, but that's moving along. We do have.
So, will you have a face-to-face then?
We're considering that. We haven't decided. I mean, we've talked about going to Binghamton to see at their respective offices and/or down to DC.
Mm.
So, still trying to get some dates and other things together for that. So that's promising.
Face-to-face is always good.
Well, and I think the other piece, talking with Tom, they are working on County Road 51, which, you know, as time permits, the DPW folks are progressing with that construction, County Road 51.
All right.
So that's moving. The other wrinkle that we had, and I don't know, I'm a little leery in public setting about that proposed project.
Well, here's what I would say. There's a proposed project for housing out there, but I wouldn't say how much or how big, but there's a potential of doing a fairly good sized housing project.
And
But it's potential at this stage.
Mhm.
in looking at what we've seen collectively between the IDA and the county and other folks, is that it could seriously enhance our ability to garner those federal funds. And there's also a discussion about submitting a CFA request for housing to handle the infrastructure for that proposed project.
Mhm.
What we'd like to take a look at is, because there's a lot of unanswered questions, but the submittal date for that grant is July 31. So we will be talking with our consultants, Delta. We'll also need some sort of project descriptor and commitment, if you will, from the proposed development. Based on the design and the initial discussions I had this morning with Tom, they were very, very brief, probably 2 minutes. It appears as though the package plant is sized to handle anything from the hotel and this proposed development and the DPW site without expansion. This would be an expandable sewage treatment facility, package plant. So there would be no need to enhance that existing design. That design is about, I think, $3 to $5 million. The question comes in because this is going to be a collaborative effort. The
Right.
IDA is going to be involved in
Right.
this in some way, shape, or form. We're also going to have the town of Amity, town of Amity, towns and villages, I get mixed up, and the county. And the question is going to be lead. The question is going to be, can we address the fact that we're looking at a proposed development for the hotel in conjunction with the housing, because the housing piece is separate from those funding, so we couldn't do infrastructure for the hotel for economic development. We could do it for housing. So there are still a number of questions, but suffice it to say, we're looking at this. We're going to meet this afternoon to review some of our internal questions. There's also some discussion that will be occurring with the town of Amity within the next couple of days, because that would require a resolution for the pro-housing. And those have not.
That's to be eligible for the funding that they're looking. And as you well know, Randy, that's not always a easy thing to agree to from a community.
Yeah, and that's, we're not trying to strong arm any of the towns and villages into a pro-housing, but if that's what we want to look at, we also need to figure out what all that pro-housing resolution obligates the towns to. So is it something that a town wants to be held to a pro-housing situation because of the nature of the beast, so to speak, what types of housing and what are the other strings attached to that? It's great for growth and development, but there are some unintended consequences. So,
well, there's some things in there, as Randy knows, that some of the communities aren't willing to sign off on, right? And it's affordability housing and regulations with that. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's a lot of and I am NIMBY, not my backyard.
Right.
It's a great idea, go do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You have enough, my backyard's full.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here.
And that's what I think, especially some communities are saying that. And that's why I think very few of the communities in the county have approved the pro-housing. It sounds like something to be in favor of, but there's some gotchas in it that some communities don't like.
Unintended comment. We know that Friendship is signed,
Right.
as has.
Yeah, there's only 2 in the county, I think.
So that's another hurdle. And the other big question is match. So we don't know what the match would be on this project, and now we have to take a look at it. So there are a lot of moving parts, and things are moving pretty quickly. And that, I mean, if we were to get that, looking at the CFA piece, I think that would make it a lot easier to secure a commitment from a hotelier and other developers, and they'd want to be on that site as well, because we'd have the water and sewer, and we'd be able to take care of that. So I don't know, but it's going to be a combined effort. We're pretty excited about it, but we're also cautious. We don't want to proceed, and certainly don't want to appear as though we're strong arming a village or town into pro-housing and looking at that. That's a decision, but we're also up against the timeline of July 31 submittal.
Yeah, the easiest way to get the funding for the infrastructure is through pro-housing, because I put in before for the hotel at CFA and it was denied.
So,
Craig,
Not that we couldn't do it again.
does the existing or the potential existence of the housing development have any impact, positive or negative, on the hotel?
I think it has probably more positive than negative, because
As a developer,
they
consulted on this.
I have not yet talked to the hotel developer, but I'm sure he would be fine with it, because it's not right next to it, it's in the adjacent area, so. You know what I'm saying, it's in the area that it was basically grassland right now. So.
and this is a local homegrown initiative.
Because you know what happens, the more activities in any one area, the more things that can happen, so that's why I think it's positive.
Right. And then that also opens up, as I understand it, the potential to secure or develop additional properties.
Right.
Out along there. So cautiously optimistic, but aside from that housing piece, we are still moving forward with sewer water line, and that is all, we're looking at the next round of appropriations. We should hear a final approval of that in the fall, and then the monies would be released in the following.
Which you'll probably hear before you do the CFA.
Yeah.
Because the CFA is usually, it's used to be that time of year, but it's been later and later every year.
So that's, I think, good news if you try to answer questions that you have or concerns.
I just have a question, Tim. Would there need to be any changes to the water line for significant development in that area?
That water line is so large, it's not a problem.
Wouldn't necessarily need to be changes to the water line, but it will require the establishment of a water and sewer district.
Sure.
So that's where we'll have to really finalize some of these discussions with taking over the bond and water line and the other piece, and jump in if I'm going too far afield.
Right.
Well, the discussions have only been going on for many years.
And I think, again, there are so many pluses to this potential housing piece that it really forces the issue and makes both water and sewer districts viable, based on prior history of trying to look and setting up those districts in the past. So,
What's the timeline on the housing piece?
I have not personally been involved in those discussions. Craig's been involved in some, I don't.
The meeting we had there, he's talking if we could get everything together as far as a timeline for the water and sewer, he'd be willing to start next spring. So more realistically, maybe a year out, but it's between 1 and 2 years he'd be starting. It's a 3-year project, so
it's potentially a $60 million
right.
Proposal.
I assume that,
And it's a gated community. It's it's something that's not in the county. So
I assume that they've done research on developing a community such as that.
We have some plans. They have some history. I don't know if they have. And that's the other piece is background and vetting the proposal. Although we do believe it's pretty reliable.
Thanks for sharing
anything else from the county perspective, Brooke, that you want to talk about?
Can I just ask a question?
Oh, sure.
Can I just ask Tim a question? I'm sorry to interrupt, but Tim, where can I find information on this pro-housing program? I'm ignorant of it. I've never heard of it before.
I can send you the link. ESD has the link, and they actually have the full resolution that one has to sign, and you can, and then you can maybe talk to Randy on why the Wellsville community didn't sign it.
Okay.
But I'll send you the actual resolution in a link.
Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt, bro.
No,
that.
and it's actually, I'm all pro-housing. I think everybody in the county is pro-housing, but it has some things in there about affordability housing and about basically allowing, not having anything to block things is what it comes down to.
How did that all come about? Did they approach us? Did we approach them? How did the pro-housing?
The pro-housing discussion or the developer?
The developer.
These are not necessarily new plans, because I've heard about them on the periphery when I came here in 2016. They've kind of resurfaced. I think with the advent of the county hiring an economic development director, specialist, office, whatever, establishing that, through outreach that came about, and through the efforts of the water line and sewer line with the
I
development.
think that was probably the biggest driving factor, is because they had had this discussion for 3 to 4 years and never kind of brought it forward because of the water and sewer issues. But the water and sewer issues made it a potential project,
And with the
having them potentially solved.
yeah, and this would be a gated community that would be accessed off of County Road 51. So by putting County Road 51 in, that really opens up the area for development. So.
failure to secure pro housing status in Amity is not a deal breaker for the project.
Right, no, it's not gonna
We
stop
already
the
have all
project.
of these other
Correct.
water sewer applications out through other funding sources that aren't tied to that requirement through ESP. It's just it's another avenue we can take.
It's probably the easiest way to get money from ESD is the issue.
But the federal money's in place.
It's actually easier, probably.
Well, we're further down the tracks.
Right.
So,
Good point.
Color me skeptical on this particular application only because it's such a tight turnaround. And I don't think it'll be an easy lift getting all the information we need to meet the deadline, but we're gonna try like hell.
I think you can. I did one in that time frame for the hotel. The biggest issue is whether or not you can put it in and then maybe get the pro housing thing later. Because I'm not sure you'll be able to get if you try to get the pro housing thing in that time frame, Amity's gonna have an issue.
All we need is a letter of intent.
You see what I'm saying? I think that's gonna be the bigger issue.
We'll see. We're gonna be with the town.
Because the CFA is actually pretty simple to do.
The only thing I have is a reminder to you guys that we've got a new board coming in January. So I recall that, off and on over the last couple of years, you've had some discussions about adding board members, requesting to add board members. It would be my thought that might be something that would be more easily accomplished before the end of the year. We can do that mid-year. You've got a good relationship with the current board.
All right.
We don't have a huge turnover next year. We're going to have 3 new ones.
All right.
But if you're interested in adding board members, maybe that's something we could try to get done before the end of the year.
Thank you. We'll do that. We'll discuss that.
Okay. Thank you. Oh. Okay, we're on to old business. Revolving loan fund setup with the LDC.
It's all set up. As you all know, we did that at the last meeting. So primarily, I'm going to be working with the lawyers on the appropriate way to fund that through the LDC from the IDA funds. Well, I probably might have a resolution at the next board meeting to discuss how we're going to have to do that. Okay.
Okay, and the Allegheny County Strategic Plan, Economic Development, EDO.
Continue to work with Ashley. Obviously, we just had a event June 23rd at Alfred State College, which is a small business event. There's a group of us been working on that. It went very well as far as the sessions. We had 3 different sessions: starting a business, growing a business, and then transitioning a business to a new owner. We're talking about doing those same kinds and other trainings at the next few months. We're asking the small businesses in the county to basically fill out a survey to let us know what they're really looking for. Because the one thing we did talk about, which I think is the biggest hurdle for a small company, is hiring an employee. As you know, I brought up, since we just went through that, all the state requirements and not just the payroll service, that was actually the easiest part, but all the other things that you have to do. And, it's a big lift for a small company to make that decision. Then you find out all the work that you have to do once you even tried to make the decision. And I don't think a lot of smaller companies understand the implications of hiring an employee.
Yeah, I think, in the old days, you found somebody you wanted to hire and you hired them.
So I'm just saying that those are the kind of things we're discussing on how to make sure that the small companies know how to grow.
Did you have a good turnout?
No, we did not. It was a small turnout, but the sessions went well. We feel pretty comfortable that we can run those sessions again. We're trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. They're talking about potentially doing them in different locations in the county, potentially doing some on Zoom, finding different ways to reach the small business owner that can't take off during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly events like that have to have some legs to,
Well, it takes some time
Get
because it's the
going,
first time we try to do something like
Yeah.
that.
that's great, great idea though. Great, good. Okay, anything else on the Gateway Center from Greg or, okay. Clean energy projects.
Only thing I have is the update is, as you well know, if you haven't, I haven't driven up that way, but Alley Cat Wind is really busy. If you want to drive up that way, I know they're putting in a lot of the bases as well as some of the infrastructure, so they're moving
Yeah,
headlong away, moving quite fast, actually.
yeah, I actually drove through some of the area, I was lost, and there it was, it's like, whoa, okay.
Because they're still talking about putting up turbines in sometime in the spring, I think. So,
Okay.
and the 4 projects in Burns are going along quite well. I haven't heard anything about those, but I'll be going up there in a couple of weeks. We do the July 15th is the public hearing for the marine solar, so I'll stop in and see it. I know the supervisor's not said any problems with those 4 systems that they're putting in.
Okay.
And that's one thing making sure that anybody who wants to, it'll be broadcast. You don't have to be there, but July 15th at 7 o'clock, we'll be doing the public hearing for the marine solar.
Okay,
Do we have any update on the Andover?
that's your neck of the woods, right?
We just put that on hold. I've not heard anything else. I'm gonna reach out to both the mayor and the supervisor just to make sure, but I've not heard anything else. I think it's just gonna basically be fully taxed because I don't think that they didn't come up with a host agreement.
And is the Northland project still in the works or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that big Alfred project is still in the works. They should be coming to us sometime at this summer or fall because they're still talking about potentially starting, but I think it's in 2027 yet.
Okay, how about Great Lakes Cheese
We
facility?
continue to work with our lawyers and they've done all the deed search. It's been kind of taking longer than what we thought, but there's not much to bring to the board this time until we get all the land in the deed search and the actual surveying done. And I think the surveying's about done up there. The one thing that we have decided, all parties, that Great Lakes Cheese will keep the sewage treatment plant until it's completely closed, and that may take months versus they thought it'd be done by now, but they don't even think they have a plan approved to close it yet. So
Mhm. Okay. Good.
we actually have somebody interested already.
Oh, I was debating whether I should ask
Yeah,
that question.
there's already somebody's reached out for some
That's
space.
excellent.
There's a space in the building, believe it or not.
That's very good. Yeah. Okay, the Brown Creek grant, how's that going?
We had another meeting which included the Carissa and Allison as well as the team, and anybody that wants to be invited, I will send you an invite if you want to do their Zoom meetings or Teams meetings. The next meeting is July 22nd, and we've got a list, and I can send the group the list of potential brownfields. It's not all the brownfields in the county, the first ones we've identified. And we're going to work from that list to probably start doing some phase 1 on 1 or 2 of those projects to get going. And then we'll also be doing some educational meetings, probably Randy, one in Wellsville, because there's probably, the potential of finding some sites in Wellsville that we can develop is probably one of the highest areas that we could probably work with you guys on that. So we'll do some development so that the consultants will come in and explain that we're not trying to get anybody in trouble. We're just trying to make these sites ready for development, which basically does a phase 1 and a phase 2. It's not trying to create any problems.
Mhm.
So we'll explain.
Could you send me that link, Craig, so I could attend that, please?
Yep, I'll send you the link to the whole board, okay?
Yeah, that would be good. I'd be interested in seeing the list of the properties too that you.
I can send that out to the board too.
Yeah.
And if there's something obviously missing, let us know, but it's not like we're gonna work on all those projects. Just so you know, the goal is to find the right brownfield projects in the county that we then can go through phase 1 and phase 2 and then find some developers that are willing to do something with the site.
Mhm.
So,
Just to interject, part of that discussion too is it's not just brownfield, it's also blight. So that you can look at blight to be included in some of those discussions based, or at least that's what I took from the meeting.
Yes, there's potential, yes.
Yeah. So there may be some areas that need to be addressed,
Yeah, there are a couple of areas for sure that are blight issues as well, and the, yes, so we can talk about those as well. But there's no funding to take the buildings down, there's only funding to do phase 1 and phase 2, and then get them ready to do other things.
Okay. I know we need to have an executive session to just discuss a contractual legal issue. So we can go with that.
Unless, do you have anything else you want to add?
Do you?
This will be short, but we'll just come out and close the meeting, we don't have any other action items.
It's nice to see you all.
Good to see you
Dan
too.
and Allison are still
I will see you on the 26th, is that
on
right?
sale.
Yeah, I know that.
26th,
This Saturday.
Saturday.
See you there.
Good.
Thanks all.
It's full. Yeah.
Because I only got my email in like 2 days.
That's weird.
So should we have a motion to go into executive session?
Yes,
So moved.
Second.
thank you.
See ya.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks for,
All in
see, we
favor?
did it quick just for you.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we might be done within an hour, but that's a record lately. Okay, all those in favor of executive session, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
We are in executive session. Thank you. No, you're seconding.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
You can go ahead and close the meeting.
Okay.
It's still
What's
on.
that?
Doug moved very
Doug and I are, it's like, I don't know, it's just, maybe it's the way I'm sitting, but my,
You look right at me.
I do, I look right at Doug, and he makes the mistake of
So
looking
did we
back.
close the meeting?
Boy,
So then it's like, okay, you're it.
Close the meeting? Should we close the
I
meeting?
make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are out. We are done with that.
We're out.